Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Soka Yus. I'm a financial wellness counselor here at Mayo Employees Federal Credit Union. Today's presentation, we're going to talk about money and mental health. So there's a lot of questions when I meet with people about their personal finances. A lot of times we talk about their mental health and where the state of their mental health and see how they can improve their mental health and also how they can improve their financial situation as well. A little bit of background about me. I've been in collections for 16 years, but I moved into this position. We're going on three years now. So, but if you guys have any questions during the presentation, please just raise your hand, or if you're online, just type in the questions and we'll try to get to you as quickly as possible. Or if you're a little shy and you want to reach out to me afterwards, to discuss some personal matter, or whatever the situation may be, then you can email me. This is my contact information. So that's my phone number and my email address. And again, my name is Soka Yus. I am the financial wellness counselor here. But if you can't write this down right now, you can always go to our website, mayocreditunion.org, go to the financial education tab, and you can get my information off of there as well. So on the agenda today, we're going to talk about an overview of money and its effect on mental health, money and mental health challenges, ways to feel financially secure and maintain a positive outlook. We're going to talk a little bit about budgeting, savings, and debt management, ways to improve your mental health, and the tools that we offer. So when it comes to the connection between money and mental health is a significant one, where financial challenges can lead to mental health problems. Poor mental health can exacerbate financial difficulties. Addressing both financial health and mental health well-being is crucial for overall life satisfaction and stability. And understanding this interconnection is the first step towards breaking the cycle and building a healthier financial future. So many factors can affect mental health, but money and debt, regardless of one's income, can have huge effects. So some of the recent factors that a lot of people are seeing me about are student loan repayments starting. That was back in October. There's a pause now in the student loans, but with a lot of people, that's still a large burden on their pocketbook. Increased housing costs, rent and mortgage, constantly going up, right? So if you have a mortgage, maybe your mortgage is set to a set rate, but maybe the taxes, the property taxes are constantly going up, or the insurance is constantly going up. So maybe your mortgage is staying consistent, but everything else, like the cost of upkeeping the house, is going up as well. And rent, as we know, goes up every year for a lot of people. So that's a huge increase or a huge burden on a lot of household. Increased rates of loan products. So as we know, we have the loan products such as auto, home, lines of credits, credit cards and stuff. Increased rates can have a huge effect on it depending on what your balance is. So we know that the Fed just lowered the rates a little bit, maybe a week or two ago, but it's still higher than what we're used to before the pandemic. So that still is a huge hit in the financial pocketbook there. Healthcare insurance increases. So mine went up drastically from last year to this year, but I know open enrollment's coming up in November, so it's always good to review that. It's always good to ask a lot of questions when it comes to healthcare insurance, just to make sure that it's going to cover everything that you need, and also in the future that year too. So is this the year that you're going to get LASIK surgery? Is this the year that you need to get, new dentures, or wwhatever the situation is? So plan accordingly and plan ahead of time, because as we know, healthcare expenses is through the roof these days. And that's, I saw a statistic somewhere last year where it was about 40% or 42% of people filing bankruptcy was because of medical bills that they couldn't pay back. And of course, the popular topic these days, inflation. Inflation is always a huge hit to our pocketbook. We don't know when it's going to go down, if it ever goes down, but all we can do is try to budget moving forward. So that's always on the forefront of a lot of discussions that I have, a lot of our members. So money is cited by 50% of bank rate survey participants as having a negative impact on their mental health. That's more than any other factor cited, including concerns about health or relationships with money and with family and friends. So some of the things that are affecting are, common concerns are inflation, as we talked about, debt, paying for housing, lack of emergency funds, and discretionary spending. Other common money-related activities that trigger feelings of anxiety and being overwhelmed and insecure. looking at your bank statements or credit card statements. 49% of people that were surveyed said that it gives them a lot of anxiety before they, even look at their bank statements. So a lot of times when I do meet with people and I ask them, when was the last time you audit your account, or when was the last time, or how much is in your account, how much is being taken out, how much is being put in? And most of the time I get an answer, I don't know. I get too nervous, I get too scared to look at my bank account, to look at my credit card, that I just kind of avoid it altogether. So that's 49% of people surveyed agree with that. Paying your bills or paying a bill, 41% of people surveyed saying paying a bill gives them a lot, make them feel overwhelmed or, have anxiety, because a lot of times, if they're feeling that way, it's because they couldn't make a bill. Making a purchase. So if you need to make purchases right now for back to school and things like that, if you're not able to afford a lot of things for your kids going back to school, I can see why that can be overwhelming. Having to discuss money, 32% of people surveyed say that it gives them a lot of, feels overwhelmed, gives them anxiety, which is understandable. It's a very intimate thing between you and your partner, or just you yourself, talking about money. So you don't really talk that openly about money with your family and friends like you would with a financial counselor. So it's really, it's completely understandable why people would feel anxious about that. And getting paid, believe it or not, getting paid. What do I do with my money? So I got this money, now I don't want to go spend it on just random things that I feel like I should buy, but what do I do afterwards? So when I meet with people, it's talk about, on your payday, how much should you allot towards your debt, to your housing costs, your emergency funds, your financial goals, things like that. Looking at your investment accounts, 16% of people surveyed say it makes them feel overwhelmed, because maybe sometimes if you're, looking at retirement in about 5-6 years, but you don't have enough, I can see why that would trigger some anxiety. Looking at social media, 11% gives them, anxiety or feeling overwhelmed. Should I be taking a trip right now because Bob and Joan down the street are taking trips and it looks like fun, and are my kids missing out on trips, since their friends are taking trips and stuff. So it's more of, comparing yourself to other people, and also, with social media, there's a lot of advertisement and everything. So you may feel pressured or overwhelmed to buy items, off of whatever source of social media that you're on. So the definition of financial stress refers to the worry and anxiety that arise from concerns about money, whether it's due to debt, unemployment, insufficient income, or unexpected expenses. So when people experience financial stress, it can lead to significant mental health challenges, and the constant worry about money can cause anxiety, depression, sleep disturbances, and in some cases, it can lead people to substance abuse or other harmful behaviors like gambling, or just abusing substances just to relieve some of that anxiety that they're feeling. So when it comes to money and mental health challenges, some of the things that we look at are debt denial. So hesitant to seek help, leading to feelings of depression and anxiety. And in turn, if debt is accruing interest or going to is more money owed, causing worse mental health outlook. So it goes back to that last slide where looking at your bank statement and your credit card statement gives people a lot of anxiety, or make a lot of people anxious. So then they just kind of avoid it altogether, right? So when you avoid it, it goes further into collections. It accrues more debt. It accrues more fees and things like that. So then you owe more. So now you're in this vicious cycle. So it looks like certain groups are more vulnerable to the effects of financial stress on mental health, including low-income individuals, young adults, single parents, and the elderly. Now, these groups may have fewer resources to manage financial challenges, making them more susceptible to the negative mental health impacts. And another thing that when I meet with members about, their mental health and money challenges that they have currently, a lot of them, they don't realize that they're doing compulsive buying. So that's something that is that they notice once they start auditing their account. So compulsive buying is when you're spending too much on unnecessary items that drive you further into debt, and you don't really think about it ahead of time. You don't plan for it ahead of time. Go ahead. Yeah.
I prefer to think of it as retail therapy.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people see retail therapy. It's that shop until you drop mentality, right? So, you know what, I'm having a rough day. I've worked I work 4 12-hour shifts or 4 10-hour shifts. I deserve to go, to the mall to get this or that, or I deserve to order, whatever it is I've been waiting to order. go out to eat with my friends and splurge a little bit. That's retail therapy. But so retail therapy is good, but if you are finding yourself putting further into debt, right? So maybe you should look for some other coping mechanisms. So retail therapy is a popular one out there. And so with shop till you drop mentality, drive you further into debt and mental health challenges. So if you feel like, you're in this vicious cycle where you're feeling bad about yourself, and then shopping gives you that instant high because you're getting the product right away, but then you instantly have that feeling of guilt and anxiety and shame because you spent too much money, or that you're supposed to put that money towards something else, and then that's how you know that you need a different sort of coping mechanism to offset some of those feelings. Decreased job performances. So depression interferes with one's ability to complete physical job tasks 20% of the time, and cognitive performance 35% of the time, according to the Center of Disease Control and Prevention. This affects engagement with job and communication, and increased job performance, which can lead to job loss, opportunities, and wages in the future. As we know, if you're feeling depressed or if you're sad about something at home, it's easier said than done to leave it at the door when you leave the house, but of course we bring it to work with us, right? So if you're having financial issues and you're worried about, if you're worried about financial issues and you're dealing with depression also, and you're just having a very hard time, communicating at work, just doing your job, what it is that you're, hired to do, and then you start to get anxious because, you realize that you're not performing as well as you would if you weren't feeling those things. And then it can also lead, like we said, to job loss too. If if your employer not aware of your medical condition or mental health condition, then it can lead to job loss also. But if you do find yourself to that extreme, I think it'll be a good idea to talk to your supervisor, to your manager about your mental health issues, the stuff that's going on a little bit. Maybe they can help you, go on FMLA for a little while too. So just because you're feeling that way and you're not really performing your job the way that you know that you can, I think it's a good idea to reach out to your supervisor and ask for help at that point, to let them know a little bit what's going on in your, upstairs. So money and mental health challenges, some of the delays of financial milestones that we're experiencing. 59% of U.S. adults who took on student loan debt for their education have delayed financial milestones. So some of those delayed financial milestones are saving for emergencies. 27% survey said that they don't, they're putting off saving for emergencies. And then 26% is putting off saving for retirement. 24% paying off other debt, 23% buying a house, which is true for a lot of people that I'm seeing, especially with the high interest rate too. Buying or leasing a vehicle, 21% say that they delay doing those things because they have a large student loan debt to pay for. So if you find yourself in this situation, you can meet with me or meet with other financial counselors as well to see what is the best way to budget for your current situation. If you're feeling really overwhelmed and you're too overwhelmed, too stressed to save for emergency savings even, then maybe it's time to, reach out to someone and talk to someone about that. And with Mayo, they have a great employee assistance program, the EAP program, that you can talk with mental health professionals about, the situations that you're feeling. And if you need to talk to someone to help you get your finances in order or straighten out, I can help you with that here too. So just reach out to me or reach out to someone at the credit union to help you out. Ways to feel more financially secure. So face your debt with your fears and your fears. So you want to meet with a financial counselor to help you organize your debt. I know that can be so much easier said than done. Sometimes people haven't looked at their credit card or their statements in months or even years. So the first thing I like people to do is just go ahead and let's start auditing the accounts together. Because when we attack those, hard situations together, it might be easier for you. We can talk about, just auditing and see what percentage of your money, of your income is going towards fund, what percentage of your income is going towards housing, things like that. And we can pull up your credit report just to see how much debt do you actually owe. It may be less than you think. It may be, not as detrimental as you think it is. And if it is bad, then we can work on it together too. So at least you know that you're not alone in it. You can review your credit report. That really helps you face your fear. You know what? A lot of people who go from one credit card to another and avoid paying it, they don't realize that it's gone to a collection agency or gone to, a little bit further than that. So then they realize, you know what, it's gone to a collection agency. I need to get my stuff together. I need to start paying my debt back. So it kind of gives them that little fire behind their bottom. Determine which debt to pay off first and go from there. So if you have some credit cards that's already been charged off and no longer charging interest rate, do you pay that one first, or do you pay for a current open credit card with a high interest rate first? So we can walk through which one would be better. And it's always best to pay the one with the highest interest rate first, of course, because that one grows the fastest. So financial stress and mental health issues often create a vicious cycle. And for example, someone experiencing anxiety, depression due to financial problems might struggle to concentrate, make sound financial decisions, or even maintain employment. This can worsen their financial situation, leading to more stress and deeper mental health issues. So a good example would be if a person with overwhelming debt may feel anxious about opening their bills or seeking help, and this avoidance can lead to missed payments, increased debt, and have more severe anxiety. So budgeting, build a healthy habit. So budgeting is something that I work with people a lot about, with a lot of people with too. So budgeting doesn't mean that you restrict life, that you restrict your coffee, that you restrict, taking your vacation. It just means that we just organize things a little bit better, a little differently, to where you have your budget to go towards your emergency savings, you have your budget to go towards your debt, budget for future financial goals as well. So we want to help you build healthy habits with budgeting, establish and understand your credit, make all payments on time, of course, is always the best thing. If not, you can always reach out to your creditor, let them know of your situation, and they can walk you through it. You can start building your savings. When it comes to financial goals, with budgeting, we want to have a category for financial goals as well. So it's not always about living the now and, and paying off debt for mistakes that you made in the past. We want you to pay off those debt. We want you to have short-term financial goals where, in the next 6 or 8 months, we want you to have enough savings for emergency, depending on how much that may be for you individually. And we want you to have long-term savings too. Or long-term financial goals could be for retirement, could be, in 10 years I want to pay off my mortgage, or in 10 years I want to get a mortgage. Whatever your long-term, short-term, medium-term, or long-term financial goals are. Set a budget and stick with it. So to start with a budget, you want to keep track of your spending habits and daily expenses. That is very tedious for a lot of people, because you pretty much have to keep track of every time you swipe or every time you hit buy online, because they make it so easy, right? So online, your card information is already on there. You just do like a one-button buy, and it's super easy to just, not think of it as real money, because it's something that's so available it's just readily available for you. But we want you to start and continue building emergency savings, make it automated from each paycheck to make it easier for you. The reason why it's so important to have emergency savings is to keep you out of debt. So if your tires blew, or if you need to, take your dog to the emergency vet, what happens and where does that money come from? We want you to take it out of your emergency savings versus you putting on a credit card. Even if that credit card does have a 0% interest rate, we want you to still have something in savings for those kind of emergencies and avoid credit cards as much as possible. Ideas to reduce expenses. If your cell phone plans are a little expensive, you can always shop around. There's a lot of different cell phone plans out there, so it's very competitive, so that means it's good for you. Or you can go to, you can get on a family plan too, if, that can help you save some money. Cancel gym memberships. If that's something that, you're not using anymore, just go ahead and cancel it. It's really nice outside anyway, so you might as well just go take a walk outside if gym membership is something that you're not using. But another way to save money is to cut streaming services or consider different internet providers. I know with Spectrum, there's always, they quote you for something like $60 a month for internet, and then they end up billing you for like $90. It's a constant battle with certain internet and cable providers. But luckily for us here in Rochester, we have a few options, which is better for us, so that way you can shop around and see which one's cheaper for you. Another way to save money that a lot of people don't think about is you can move your checking or savings accounts that have monthly fees or minimum balance requirements. Like Wells Fargo, if you don't do like an automatic direct deposit, of at least $800 a month, they charge you like a monthly service fee of like $5 or $10 or something. So just review your bank statements. If that is the situation that you're in, just move it to a credit union like ours where we don't charge monthly service fees or anything like that. You can refinance your loans to a lower interest rate. So if you bought your car, a couple years ago or a year ago, and it was at 20-something% because your credit wasn't good and, you didn't have a cosigner at the time, but now you've been working on your credit for a year and it's much better, you can try to refinance and to get a lower interest rate. A lower interest rate means less monthly payments for you, so you can save money that way too. So not just your vehicles, it can be your mortgage, it can be your student loans, whatever it is. But we want you to tailor your goals towards your lifestyle. If you're if you're the kind of person that go to the gym all the time, don't cancel your gym membership then. Just do something that is going to be conducive to your current lifestyle and also the lifestyle that you want to have in about 5-10 years too. Just keep in mind what your financial goals are. Where to start? So this is a very basic spreadsheet. You can get this anywhere. You can get it online. There's actually lots of apps that you can use to budget. So you just want to create a list of all your monthly expenses. So you want to have your fixed expenses. Fixed expenses are things like set amount, like your mortgage is going to come out on the 1st of each month, or rent is the 1st of each month, or student loans are going to come out on the 5th of each month. So those are set, fixed expenses. You can compare your total expenses to your monthly income. So of course you want to list how much income you have, how much fixed expenses, and then also your variable expenses. Variable expenses can be like groceries. Yeah, we want to set a goal and say, you know what, I'm not going to go over $800 this month on groceries, but it could be depending on the season. If when you may be throwing a birthday party for your significant other in autumn, in the fall, so your grocery bill is going to go up a little bit too. So it can be a little bit more flexible, but ultimately we still want a budget for it so we know to stay within our financial goals. And then we want you to go ahead and write down your savings category too, your savings goals. I like to have people put their savings goals and how much they want to put towards it as part of their monthly bills. Because if you don't automate it, if you don't force it to be a priority, then it's going to be on the back burner for a while. And that's why a lot of people don't have emergency savings. So you can put emergency savings to whatever savings you have coming up, whatever financial goals you have coming up. Like Christmas is coming up, people can start saving now, and determine how much you need to save each paycheck and stuff. So it's really important that you keep in mind what your financial goals are and set that as a priority right along with your other bills as well. The easiest way to start your savings account is automated. So with Mayo, I know you can, here too, you can actually put 2 different checking accounts or, bank routing and checking or savings number to have it deposited. You can have, 20% go or 10% of your paycheck to go to one financial institution that you don't really access because that's for your emergency savings. Or you can have the rest of your paycheck, 90% of your paycheck, go towards your regular checking account that you will use to pay bills out of too. So that's that's another way to automate your savings. And of course, we save towards your financial goals. Sometimes when I meet with people in financial goals, sometimes they have a hard time determining what their goals are, how much time they need to save for that, and how much they need to save per paycheck to reach those goals on time. So that's something that I'll be able to help people out too if that's something that you need help with. Emergency savings is important to have to avoid adding debt. You want to set goals and automate savings from your paycheck. You want to save between 6 to 9 months of living expenses. That's ideal, but that can be a lot and it can be an overwhelming number. So you can start with $1,000 as emergency savings, and then or even have $1,500 of emergency savings, and then start paying down your debt, and then work towards saving 6 to 9 months of living expenses as emergency savings. And then, of course, we want you to put that in a high-yield savings account, so that way your money can work for you instead of just sitting there. Short-term savings, determine an amount and set goals. So short-term examples of short-term savings is, saving for a down payment on a car or moving expenses. If you know you want to move to, let's say, Florida from Rochester in May, then determine how much that moving expense is going to be. Is it going to be $20,000? Is it going to be $500? No matter what it is, just work your way backwards and determine how much you need to save each paycheck. Long-term savings can be determine an amount and set the goals, things like house down payment or investment and retirement too. Different ways to save. So ways to save in services and accounts that we have available here at MEFCU at Mayo Employee Federal Credit Union. You can save at a high yield savings account, but we also have money market account here. We have certificates, youth and teen certificates, educational savings, investments, and traditional Roth IRAs and pre-tax savings and pensions that you can look into with your employer as well. Managing debt. So your credit profile is very specific to you. We want you to know what your credit score, how it's calculated. We want you to know what your score is. We want you to know what is on, what kind of debt you have on there. I want you to make thoughtful and deliberate choices when you are paying off these debt or when you are accruing these debt as well. So is it something you're going to be able to pay off entirely with your next paycheck, or are you going to be able to pay it off within the next 2 or 3 months, or what is your plan to how to pay off this credit card debt? And we want you to monitor your credit at least once a year with annualcreditreport.com. So it's a free service. They won't give you your score, but you'll have access to all 3 of your credit report with all 3 major credit bureaus with Equifax, Experian, TransUnion. They're a legitimate company. They're going to ask for your social security number, things like that, but they're absolutely legitimate. So it's a safe website for you to put that information on there. What is in your credit score? So 35% of your credit score makes up of your payment history. No surprise there, right? So we want you to make your payments on time, and if you don't, reach out to your creditor, see if there's something that they can do to help you out. Let them know your financial hardship, financial situation that you're in, and see if they're able to, just take a small portion of that payment for this month and then move everything else to next month. So just let them know what's going on. But the point is, we want you to have a good payment history. But if you find yourself, slipping and miss a couple payments, just get back on track as quickly as possible and, continue to make those payments on time for as long as possible. 30% of your score is the amounts owed, so credit utilization. How much do you owe on your credit cards, on your loans altogether? If you do have credit card or line of credit, how much of that, what percentage of that are you using? So we tend to have people, it's ideal if you stay under 30% credit utilization, which means out of $10,000 available credit, we want you to spend maybe no more than $3,000. If you spend more than that, then of course try to get it under $3,000 as quickly as possible, because that will help your credit score out the most. 10% of your credit score is new credit, and that will piggyback onto the length of credit history. So the reason why new credit takes up 10% of your credit score is because we want you to have the longest, a long credit history tells creditors that you have a lot of experience in paying your debt back, and that you have, you've established in how to, manage your debt and things like that. But if you constantly get new credit, then it shortens the lifetime of your credit history. So it affects your credit score as well. Credit mix takes up 10% of your credit score. Ideally, if you have a mortgage, car note, student loan, personal loan, credit cards, and that's a good credit mix. But if you don't have that, don't worry. We don't want you to go out to get those loans just to have that credit mix. So yeah, you don't want to get extra debt there. So I can stay on here a little longer if you want.
Did you say new credit can help or not?
Well, it can help both, but we want you to be very careful opening new credit, right? Because every time you put in your information to inquire to get credit, that's a hard pull on your credit report. So it brings down your score by a few points, right? It'll go back up in a few months, it'll balance itself out. But then when you get those new credit, now you have, if you've been approved for a new line of credit or credit card, so now you have this new credit, which shortens the lifetime of the length of your credit history. And we want your credit history to reflect as long as possible, like the average age of it. So you get new credit, then it shortens the average age of that. So, yeah. Okay, and then managing your debt with payment history, of course, as mentioned before, I want you to pay your bills on time, and if you miss a payment, get current and stay current for as long as possible. With new credits, limit your inquiries, apply for and open new credit accounts only as needed, and have credit cards but manage them responsibly. With length of credit history, the age of the oldest account and average age of all accounts, don't apply for unnecessary credit accounts because that shortens the average age of the credit history. Use caution when opening new credit cards to transfer balances and avoid payday lenders. So staying on track with budgeting. So we want you to have a plan. We want you to schedule a meeting with yourself or with, someone that you trust, have a budget buddy, someone that can help you, hold yourself accountable and hold each other accountable too. Or meet with a financial counselor to discuss plans and take actions. The goal is to get started as soon as possible, because the sooner you get started on paying off your debt or addressing some of your financial questions, the sooner that anxiety goes away, believe it or not. So it's only fearful, it's only scary when you don't exactly know what is going on with your portfolio. So the sooner you address it, the sooner you can make a plan of attack. You take accountability to meet with someone who can hold you accountable. That can be someone like myself, someone like your friends. There's also lots of groups out there online that you can join also that can help you, stay on track too. So, and we want ways to improve your mindset. Focus on what you can control. If rent is too high, you know that you can't move for another, year or two. Figure out a way to, fix your spending plan. So readjust your budget. A budget is something that is ideal. We want you to set it and we want you to stick to it. But we all know that real life doesn't work that way. So if you find yourself that you're going over your budget or you're way under your budget, we want you to adjust it accordingly, okay? But if you know that, rent is going to be high anywhere, mortgage is going to be, if you get a new mortgage now, it's going to be high. But we just want you to adjust your other living expenses too, or lifestyle to adjust to that. We want you to stay focused on your financial goals and adjust that as needed too. So it's always good to have financial goals, of course, but if you find that you're saving way too much and you don't have enough for groceries and you end up putting your grocery charges on your credit card, then we want you to adjust your savings goal and financial goals too. So that way you won't be so strict on other things that would cause you to go further into debt. Focus on self-care. So include self-care in your budget as well. I like to do that with people, with everyone I talk to. Have some sort of self-care. It can be, going to the movies. It can be you picking up some, a sewing class that can help you with your mental health. So include self-care in your budget, whether it's setting aside funds for a mental health professional or an activity that you enjoy that can help you relieve stress. Reading, if you buy a lot of books, then that can be expensive too, but whatever it is that you feel that will help you out a lot. Pilates is not cheap, but if that's something that that really, really helps you out, it gets your body moving, but it helps your mental health too, let's just put that in the budget. If you know that you're a coffee addict and you don't want to make coffee at home, that's fine. Let's put that in the budget too. As long as we budget for it, it's something that we're, plan on spending money on. Take advantage of free services like EAP, Employee Assistance Program, financial counseling with us, debt management services like Family Means. They're nonprofit organizations, so take advantage of those things. And a lot of support group online. Just beware not to give your personal information, of course, to people that you don't know online, but a lot of good support groups, people that are trying to get out of debt, people that are trying to reach their financial goals and stuff. So it's always good to, chat with those people and kind of pick their brain a little to see how they got themselves out of debt, or, meet with someone to actually set a budget for yourself too. Also remember your whys. Why did you start on this journey in the first place? Was it to, try to get rid of stress, try to get rid of some debt, try to organize your life a little bit better financially, or try to set some goals too. So it's really important to remember that. And of course, we want you to be patient with yourself. Take small steps to build new habits. Of course, pay off your debt and save more money. Those are all habits. Those are all habitual changes. As we know with habits, it's so much easier to pick up really bad habits, but so hard to change bad habits into good habits. So that's something for you to, you find that you need help changing some habits, you have certain habits that are not healthy for you, then that's something for you to reach out to a mental health professional as well and just let them know, I'm having issues with this, it's affecting my financial life, and now it's affecting my future with my family or with myself, and, things like that too. You change your perspective too, go easy on yourself. If you want to buy a house in a couple years, but you know that your finances are not supporting that right now, then that's okay. Let's just extend it to 4 years. The interest rate might go down by then too. So just change your perspective a little bit. Don't be so rigid with, everything that you set out with your budget and your financial goal. Those are great suggestions to have those, to want to be done by those, reach those goals by those dates. But if it's affecting your mental health, if it's affecting other things in your life, then you can, change, can readjust it as well. So additional tools and supports, meet with me virtually or in person for ideas on how to better plan ahead for your future expenses or how to set up your detailed budget according to your whatever season in life that you're in. There's plenty of tracking tools to manage your expenses. If you want a template that you saw earlier, you can email me and I can send it out to you. But there's lots of apps out there, lots of free apps, lots of free, budget templates that you can use as well. You just use your own, a simple paper and pencil or pen. Just write down, what is your income, what kind of expenses do you have, and just write it down. Something about writing it down makes you remember a little bit more, makes it feel a little bit more real. And of course, we want you to know your credit score, review it annually. Now, during the pandemic, annualcreditreport.com allowed people to go on there for free every week because there was so much fraudulent and spams and things like that. So it's really important that you review your scores and review your credit report at least once a year. Keep tabs of your expensive services that we offer. We have online and mobile banking, e-statements, automatic savings, transfers, and bill pay. So again, my name is Soka Yus. I'm a financial wellness counselor here. If you have any questions, just reach out to me by phone or by email address too. So do you have any questions at this time?
You mentioned like a high yield savings.
Yeah.
Mayo Credit Union have high yield savings?
So we have a money market account, but also you can talk to member services representative about how to get started on that and see what we suggest as far as high yield savings account too. So you can find that anywhere, and we have a great money market program here as well. So it's quite competitive with other institutions out there too. So, but you can call into the phone center and talk to member service representative. They can walk you through that too. So yeah, absolutely. Because if you're going to save your money somewhere, you might as well just put it in an account that is working for you, that grows for you, So instead of letting inflation take the hit. And yeah.
With that recent will publicized data breach.
Yeah.
What does Mayo Credit Union have to,
Yeah.
help other than checking their credit?
Yeah.
Have you assembled something to respond to that?
Yeah, so we just generally like to help people to check their credit report, right? So if you see something that's on your accounts, your checking or savings, whatever accounts that you have with us, credit cards and stuff, we want you to review that regularly. If there is different charges on there, something that you're recognizing that is not you, then we want you to report it to us immediately, so that way we can help you get ahead of that, how to recover from that. And also, if you're, it's always best to maybe freeze your credit too, since there's a large, data breach. So you just go to annualcreditreport.com, and then you can freeze it on each credit bureaus as well. So that way, if someone is trying to open something under your name or social security number, it has to go through you first. So you'll get a notification saying that, hey, did you apply at Discover Loan? And if that's not you, then you know that you can just hit no and still go and deny that application too. So it's really important that you keep track of that on yourself too. We as a credit union are very aware of all the scams and frauds that's going around, but and we want to partner with you to help you figure out, for you to monitor your own accounts. Let us know as soon as you see something. But of course, if we see something on our end too, we of course will close your account or reach out to you and say, you know what, this doesn't sound, this is not your regular purchase. This doesn't look like something you regularly do. Is this your purchase, or is this something that you open with us? So that's what we can do as well. But it's always good for you to freeze your account and go to annualcreditreport.com. It's free to do all that. So yeah, absolutely, yeah.
So on that line,
Mm-hmm.
so like, CNA had a confidentiality breach or somebody that got in and got information, you don't know, who they got it.
Sure.
But they had mentioned not the freeze, but to put the fraud alert on.
Oh yeah, you can put a fraud alert on your account too.
So is one better than the other?
So one is not better than the other, but I think they can both help you out at the same time. A fraud alert means that if your accounts are not frozen and there's some sort of strange activity on there, so it's an alert. That way they can alert you to let you know, hey, is this you? Did you do this? Did you apply for this? Did you make this purchase? So that's a good fraud alert there. But when you freeze your account, it stops them from opening new accounts for you. So it kind of work hand in hand together too. So it's just.
Fraud alert, they could still open up an account.
Yeah, if your account's not frozen, they can still open your accounts. So it's always best to just kind of do both, right? So kind of do freeze your accounts, freeze your social security number or your accounts, your credit with the credit bureaus, and then also have fraud alerts on all of your accounts as well. So that's always very helpful to have both of them. Yeah. I know there's a lot of frauds going on, especially going into the holiday season. There's going to continue to be a lot more. So we're always on the outlook for it too. So right there. Yeah. Any other questions? Doesn't look like we have anything online there, Darian. So, all right, good deal. Well, thank you so much for coming to see me today or seeing us. And please stay 12:15. Don is going to be here to give his presentation.